Good morning, Samantha. It's great to see you and great to be here for this conversation.
Morning. It's great to see you too, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing great. As you can see, I'm in my fake Costa Rica office here in Toronto, trying to bring good energy to our conversation. And so it's, you and I have talked a couple of times over the last few weeks. We're part of a graduate degree program at Queen's University in business. And I was mentioning before we started recording that I've been prodding you a little bit, as is my job to do, to help really try to uncover a little bit more about who you are and where this very impressive academic path that you've been on is leading.
Mm-hmm.
You have been a recognized leader within our class. You've been elected as the president of the Student Executive Council. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let me ask a question. What do you think others see in you to have you be their president?
That's a really good question for sure. Personally, I think I suit the role because I'm relatively organized. I recognize that there's difficulties with the online platform as well. With our class, this is the first year that we're doing the GDB completely online, and it's led to some disconnect. So I saw that was an issue and wanted to come in and do my best to help the class as a whole facilitate sort of the creation of a community online. So I'm hoping that they recognize that and appreciated the effort.
Mm-hmm. So some organization skills, a vision of how to build community in a disconnected online environment. I suspect if I ask the class the same question, there might be a few other words that come up for them, but how has leadership been part of your life before coming into this graduate program?
So most of my leadership roles coming into this have been sort of unofficial leadership roles, aside from one. I did cadets for 2 years, so it would have been my junior and senior year of high school. I ended up basically by mistake becoming a platoon leader. 2 years is not a lot of time. It usually ranges from the ages of 9 to 19. So you usually have about 10 years in this program to make your way up the ranks. But when I entered it, they realized I was older and realized it was something I was interested in and moved me up, and I ended up as a 2IC, which is second in command to a platoon leader. My platoon leader had transferred over from Air Cadets. I was Army, and he just hadn't had any interest in the new program, so we ended up just not showing up a lot, and as a second in command, I ended up essentially leading the platoon for a year by accident. So that would probably be my most significant role as leadership, but the rest of them up until this point has been mostly just falling into a leadership role within groups for stuff like group projects or within an office or stuff like that.
It's interesting to hear the words you use, because you use words that make these seem very accidental in how you've ended up there, and you'll know well enough from perhaps leaders that you've followed or leaders that inspire you that there are qualities people need to see in somebody to accept them as a leader, regardless of whether they're given the title or not. The title doesn't give you the ability to lead. It's actually that you've connected with the people who you are to lead. And so again, if you could reflect, and I know this is a challenging thing this is not about bragging, but this is about kind of reflecting on, as that platoon leader who became the platoon leader, what were those young people that you were leading then seeing through your actions and the way you connected with them that allowed you to do that job?
Yeah, well, I was very passionate about cadets going in. There was a long time in my life where I thought I would have a military career. I was intending to go to RMC for a long time for my university career, and that didn't work out, but it was a big passion of mine for many years. And I think that was a large part of why they accepted me as a leader. I was also very close with many of the people I was leading, you know, having just a year prior been at their level, having been in the platoon. I wasn't some stranger coming in and taking control, or somebody that there had been a decent amount of disconnect between. They were my peers essentially, who knew that I was passionate about this and knew that I knew what I was doing. So when I had to step up, I think they recognized that I could at least be competent, and welcomed me into the role.
Mm. So seeing that somebody's passionate is a really great comment. I mean, that is a big part of what we look for in our leaders is, do they describe or do they demonstrate the kind of behavior of caring about the thing that we're following them toward. And it's interesting, I just had a conversation before we started this one with a young entrepreneur that reminded me that the original definition of the word passion is actually about a struggle, which is interesting because it is the struggle, but towards something that matters, that is what passion looks like. It's easy to be, inspired and motivated when things are easy, but it's working towards something that's really important and being willing to put in the hard work. That is what passion actually looks like. So is being a cadet is hard work. It's discipline. It's things that a lot of teenagers are not necessarily drawn to.
No.
Just speaking from experience of a household of four. What drew you to the work and the discipline and that environment, and then we're able to embrace that and actually enjoy that struggle?
Yeah, I've always been very duty driven and responsibility driven. Even when I was little, my mother used to joke that I was born at the age of 30 because this is just, it's been how I've been all of my life. So when I was, in grade 10 doing like civics and careers and stuff like that, a military career kept coming up in the quizzes and stuff that we were doing and all of that. And my grandfather served, and my father was a cadet, and so I had a lot of sources to talk about the experiences and stuff like that, and found that I was interested in it. And it was something that I thought I could apply my duty, my responsibility, my discipline, and that would allow me to achieve stuff in a way that I'm trying to find the words for it. I felt comfortable in this kind of community, and I thought it was somewhere that I could excel, essentially.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that last comment around feeling comfortable in a community, because that's a big part of what we seek when we're growing up is a group of people that accept us and where we feel we can be ourselves, and that's embraced. And so now that you've chosen this new path, you're pursuing a business degree, you're looking at what this might all mean for you. There are many communities out there, and there are many communities that will embrace a leader with discipline and structure and a vision for the future and the willingness to put in the work. And I've been working with you to try to open up a little bit the view of how could what you bring and that leadership style that you have be used to do something important in the world, and any sense of what that might look like, or how are you working through the thoughts on that?
I don't know where I want to go and what I want to do with this yet, obviously. I'm very early on in my career. I came into this program straight out of my undergrad, so I have very little professional experience. But I'm hoping to end up with a company that's trying to make a difference. That's how I want to do. I want to be able to support a company that is going to help change things. So a lot of I did my undergraduate in life sciences. So a lot of the companies that I'm looking at getting into right now are a lot of healthcare startups or health tech startups and stuff like that. I want to, support them through the rough time that comes with being a new business and that growth phase, and that time where you really do need to put in those hours and work really, 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 really hard in companies like that. And I want to help them make the difference.
Beautiful. That's the first time I've heard that come out with that passion attached to it. That's inspiring. I think I've mentioned a peer that I've worked with a little bit in the past, Haley Mundiva, who's created a company called Thrive Hire. They connect professional healthcare workers with major health emergency projects around the world, right? So projects where there's the dire need for significant resources around big health challenges. And so they recruit professionals from all kinds of countries to come and work on those projects. And I remember having a conversation with her about how she found her way to create this. And it was just trying to find a way to feel like she was able to make an impact, just as little Haley, but at a scale that felt like she was doing something of real impact, right? And so, this platform lets her leverage all of these other health professionals who want to do something positive in the world, want to make a difference. And so it's beautiful to see all the different ways that this can actually play out. And you've just described a vision of where I can imagine you sitting in an interview with a company and not being afraid to say, I want to be part of leading this company to what we're capable of doing, whether that's now or whether it's in 10 years from now. I mean, leadership is, as we've talked about with your story, leadership isn't the title, right? So you can be a leader as a first-year hire in a company by how you act, the example you set for other people, the way you contribute to the company and look for the better interest of the whole versus yourself. And these are all parts of who you are because of the upbringing you've had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm aiming to do. Like that, I want to be able to apply what I have to what other people are doing, because I have a vision for the future, but I don't have any personal project. I'm not the entrepreneur type. So being able to apply this drive that I have to somebody else's, project and offering my vision, I guess, not applying it, but offering my vision, I think is definitely what I want to do in terms of like how I want to help people in society as a whole.
Is there a more clearly articulated vision of what that is than what we've heard so far?
I think it really depends on where I end up with a company. You know what I mean? In terms of helping people move forward, it's going to vary depending on the technology that they have. I might move around, but for me, the biggest thing is moving healthcare forward and getting that technology going and having healthcare available to more people as well. So stuff like that is, having gone through the life sciences program, I'm realizing how necessary it is and how much we can really do to help people using new medical technologies. So it's definitely something I want to try and apply and help push forward. So
if we took the filters off of it depends on what company accepts me, what's the actual vision?
That part I'm still trying to work out a little bit more, I've taken a wide range of courses and stuff like that, all different kinds of things. And I recognize different areas where there's stuff. A lot of the stuff that I like to work with is microbiology based. So the use of antibodies and stuff like that. To me, very interesting. And there's a wide range of things that we can do in terms of vaccine-like stuff or treatment with antibodies. So I think that's definitely an area of research that I'd like to be, helping to propel forward in the near future.
So if I can play back to you,
of course,
that we have a quiet leader who leads by example, leads without the need for title, and wants to bring the advances of modern medicine to parts of the world and people of the world who don't have access to them today.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a good legacy, I think, to lead, yeah.
And I'm so thrilled you used that word, because legacy, you know, oftentimes people see as a thing to move towards. I'm reminded every day, every once in a while, random email will show up in my inbox from somebody I coached 10, 20, 30 years ago. And it'll be just, hey, coach, was thinking about something you said. It helped me get through my day. Thanks. Hope you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reminded that I actually created a legacy in the moment I said those words to them. And so I would challenge you that I think you're in a place where you've got a leadership. You are a leader that has been recognized by others around you. And the legacy can start today. It can be how you show up for people today and the vision you share with others on how healthcare can help and needs to help humanity across the planet. And all of these beautiful advances in medicine and technology and all that are great, but only if they really get into the people who don't even have the basics right now. Like, how do we leverage that technology to get to them? Seems like a heck of a good legacy to start with right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's beautiful. Well, let's tie a bow around this conversation there, because it feels like, for me at least, I've gotten clarity on Samantha at a level well beyond our previous conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love, with your permission, to share this, because I think people need to see this version of Samantha, because there's a clarity and an energy that came out of you today that was new for me, and maybe new for some other people.
That would be good. Yeah.
Very cool. It's great to see you.
You too.
Thanks for coming on and being willing to be on the hot seat for a few minutes. I hope it creates some value for you and some insights that you can take away now and think about in the weeks and months ahead as you prepare for what comes next once this school program is done.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
You too.